This is the Uptick Newswire Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews, public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world, with your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, we have a returning company and a new guest. The returning company is Hemp Inc. Well, they trade on the OTC markets, ticker symbol HEMP. And with us today is a certified master grower, Mann Mullen. He also owns Mullen View Farms for Hemp Inc. Mann, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Everett. Glad to be here today.
How did you become interested in the hemp production and what's going out there in North Carolina?
Well, Everett, when I try to keep up with things that are going on in the agricultural field, and I started noticing other states legalizing industrial hemp, and I thought that it would be a good idea to grow hemp on my small family farm in North Carolina. Commodity prices at that time, and they still are, Everett, for soybeans, corn, and wheat were so low it was virtually impossible for small family farms to survive. And so I started looking at hemp as a cash crop, and would allow me to be sustainable and possibly even grow the farm. And so that's how I got involved, or was how I became interested in it.
The hemp industry is going to save the small family farm. Is that correct?
Yes, I certainly hope so. It would be a shot in the arm anyway.
You know, what are the benefits of hemp production in North Carolina and for North Carolina itself?
Well, I believe that the climate and the soil and the growing season in North Carolina is perfect for the production of hemp, whether it be for the fiber or for the oil or for the seed or any of the other byproducts that come from it. The soil in the land in North Carolina is perfect for tobacco production, and I'm a former tobacco farmer, and it's my belief that that type of climate and soil will provide, hemp will flourish in these types of soil and the climate that North Carolina's got. The state of North Carolina, as for the state of North Carolina is a huge agricultural-based state, and our lawmakers, I believe, are open-minded to the fact that agriculture has a large impact on the economy. You can look at the facts. North Carolina is number one, I think, in sweet potatoes, number one in turkey, number one in tobacco. So we've got a large agricultural-based economy already, and I think that our state leaders, accompanied by some of the best farmers. I believe North Carolina's got some of the best farmers in the world, and because of the number of different commodities that we do grow here in North Carolina, I think that accompanied with the state leaders and the farmers, and if North Carolina can provide North Carolina with and the whole U.S. with some of the best hemp products possible, and at the same time, Everett, I think we can generate a large economic boost to our state, and maybe even for the U.S. and it would provide small farmers like me, small family farmers, with a means to stay on the farm and maybe even grow.
You know, educate myself and my listeners about the hemp production. How long does it take to actually go from seed to crop? And then where do you take it to? And how often can you have a crop?
Well, I think that we can, as far as growing outside, we'll only produce one crop per season. And so we're planning the spring out here would be probably in April, May, and then we should be able to have a crop by August, ready to harvest. And it depends. My crop last year was basically, we were just getting started, and it was basically a flop. We started late because we were kind of in heat. We got our license and we got the seed, but we knew we were too late going in. But we wanted wanted to try and see. And we learned a lot, but we didn't fare very well. But I have not lost my confidence that we can do it, planting it at the right time. But to answer your question, I think we have one crop. Now, if we can grow inside of greenhouses or some type of production like that, we could possibly generate 2 to 3 crops a year. Depending on, now you wouldn't grow, depending on what it was being grown for, CBD oil or seed production and things like that would obviously have to be grown outside.
It sounds like it's a very hands-on crop, very labor-intensive. Is that correct?
I think it's going to be labor-intensive. But we're used to that here in North Carolina because of the tobacco has been the backbone of North Carolina's economy for so long. So we're prepared for that. And I think that we can, as we progress, we'll find out North Carolina, well, all farmers are just entrepreneurs, and we'll find out a way to do it the best and shave that cost.
So we're right now, we're still in the basically beta testing phase. Is that correct?
Right. Yes, that's correct.
My guest today is Mann Mullen. He's the owner of Mullen View Farms out there in North Carolina. He's also a contributor to the hemp organization. Trade on the OTC markets, ticker symbol HEMP. How did you become involved with Bruce Purloin and the hemp organization?
Well, they came out when they first came to North Carolina. Well, when I first met them, they were here looking for a facility or for a building to put the decortification plant in. I understand it's the largest one in North America. And I've got a building not too far. And so they approached me about storing some product in there. And actually, at that time, it was Canaf. And so they found out I was a small farmer, and we developed that relationship. They are storing some product, and I think that they'll end up being storing hemp in my building. And so, and I'm providing a stepping stone, I hope, between the manufacturer and the small family farm. I hope that I'm the liaison to make this whole thing click.
Well, man, I want to appreciate you coming on the show and educating us. In closing, is there anything that you didn't get a chance to touch upon that you would like to get out there to the listeners?
Everett, I want everybody to be touched on it briefly, and I think that the farmers are open-minded and our state leaders are open-minded. I think whatever view we may have of hemp, we've got to understand that we're talking about industrial hemp, and that we use hemp in almost everything, but we import it. So if we can do something and grow it here in the United States, grow it in North Carolina, we're going to help North Carolina's economy, the U.S. economy, and the small farms. And people need to think about people that grow hemp, and I'm hopefully going to grow hemp. We are growing hemp. Not only do we hemp farmers grow hemp, but we provide other food for people they need to eat: corn, soybeans, wheat. So we got to look out for us farmers. So that's what I would say.
I agree. Well, man, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Anytime you want to come back and educate us what's going on out there in North Carolina in the hemp industry, I'd be more than glad to have you on the show.
All right. Well, thank you, Everett. Thank you for your time.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire, LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are those of the guests and those of the respective companies they represent, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Uptick Newswire. Uptick Newswire encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of this program may have paid for its distribution and are not directly affiliated with Uptick Newswire or this station.